I need you to stop. Whatever you are doing right now, and scrolling, running, avoiding, surviving, I need you to stop for just a moment. Because what I am about to say to you is not something you stumbled across by accident. This is not random content on a random day. Something led you here. Something inside of you. Something you have been ignoring. Something you have been trying to bury under noise and distraction and busyness. Something pulled you to this very moment. And I need you to pay attention to that. I am not here to lecture you. I am not here to guilt you. I am not here to point a finger and tell you everything you have done wrong. I am here because there is a God who has not given up on you, a God who has been calling your name in the middle of your chaos, a God who watched you walk away and did not chase you with anger. He chased you with love. And today, right now, in this very moment, he is asking you one simple question. Not a complicated question, not a question that requires a PhD or a perfect past or a life that looks good on the outside. He is asking you this: will you come back? This is not a message about religion. This is a message about a God who refuses to let you disappear no matter how far you have run. Maybe you used to be in church every Sunday. Maybe you used to pray. Maybe there was a time when faith was the center of everything, and then life happened. And the faith got pushed to the edges until it disappeared completely. Or maybe you never had it at all, but something has been calling to you your entire life, and you never knew what it was. Either way, you are in the right place. Because what we are about to walk through together is not just words on a screen. It is a door. And on the other side of that door is a version of your life that you have never even imagined was possible. Because here is the first thing you need to know, the thing that will set the foundation for everything that follows. And it is this simple, devastating, life-altering truth: God never left you, and you cannot outrun his plan. Let me be very real with you right now. Not comfortable, not polite, real, because too many people are walking through this life carrying a weight they were never designed to carry. And the reason they are carrying it is because somewhere along the way, they convinced themselves that God packed that weight onto their shoulders. They convinced themselves that the silence they feel is proof that heaven stopped paying attention. They convinced themselves that the distance between where they are and where they want to be is a gap that God no longer cares about closing. And none of that, not a single word of it, is the truth. God never left you. I need you to read that again and let it land somewhere deeper than your mind. Let it land in the place inside your chest where the hurt lives. Let it land in the space where the doubt has been whispering to you for years that you are alone in this. God never left you. He was there when you walked away. He was there when you stopped praying. He was there on the nights you cried yourself to sleep, wondering if any of it meant anything. He did not flinch. He did not turn his back. He did not close the door. You stopped listening, but he never stopped speaking. The silence you heard was never his absence. It was your own noise drowning out his voice. Think about that for a moment. Every single breath you drew since the day you stopped walking with him, God was breathing life into your lungs. He was sustaining you. He was protecting you from things you do not even know were coming. He was working behind the scenes of your life with a precision and an intentionality that your human mind cannot even begin to comprehend. You think you left him behind? You think you walked away and started your life without him? No, you simply stopped acknowledging the hand that was holding you up. And here is what makes this even more powerful, like even more life-changing than you might be ready to accept right now. God was not just sustaining you during those years of silence. He was preparing you. Every single trial you went through, every single night that felt endless, every single moment where you looked at your life and wondered how you ended up here, God was shaping you. He was not punishing you. He was building you into the person who would one day be strong enough to carry the assignment he has for you. The very seasons you thought were destroying you were actually the seasons that were refining you into something extraordinary. You have to understand something about the God we serve. He is not a God who operates on your timeline. He is not a God who panics when you panic. He is not a God who abandons a plan because you temporarily walked off the path. He is the same God who kept a man alive in the belly of a whale for 3 days. He is the same God who turned a shepherd boy into a king. He is the same God who took a woman the entire world had written off and made her the mother of nations. This is who is pursuing you. This is who has been waiting patiently, powerfully, with an infinite love that your doubt has never been able to extinguish. The emptiness you feel is not a flaw in your life. It is a doorway. And on the other side of that doorway, God is standing with everything you have been searching for. Now let us talk about the second truth, and this one is going to hit even harder if you let it. You have been chasing something your entire life, and you cannot figure out why you have not found it. You have chased money, you have chased success, you have chased love, status, validation, comfort, pleasure. You have poured everything you have into filling a space inside of you that just will not stay full. And every single time you think you have finally got it, the emptiness comes rushing back like a tide that never stops. You pour more in, it drains out, you climb higher, you still feel like you are standing on the ground. Why? Why does nothing ever seem to be enough? Because you have been trying to fill a God-shaped void with everything except God. That is the truth that will set you free if you let it. And it is also the truth that will sting if you resist it. That hollow space inside your chest, the one that wakes you up at 3 a.m, the one that makes you feel restless even when everything in your life looks perfect on the outside. That space was designed by God specifically and exclusively for Him. It is not a space that love can fill. It is not a space that wealth can fill. It is not a space that fame or achievement or human connection can fill. It was made in the shape of God, and only God can fill it. And here is what most people do not understand. That void is not a weakness. It is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is actually proof that you were made for more than this world can offer. It is proof that you were created with a spiritual hunger that was always meant to lead you back to the source. That restlessness you feel, that is not anxiety. That is not emptiness. That is your soul recognizing that it is not where it is supposed to be. That is God pulling at you from the inside saying, come home. Every single thing you have reached for, every achievement, every dollar, every relationship, every moment of pleasure, none of it was ever meant to be your final destination. Those things were meant to be gifts that God gives you along the way. They are blessings that exist inside the context of a relationship with Him. But when you strip God out of the equation and make those things your whole purpose, they become idols. They become the very things that keep you trapped in a cycle of wanting more, chasing more, and never arriving. The moment you go back to Him, the moment you stop running from that void and instead run toward the only one who was designed to fill it, everything you have been searching for does not just become possible, it becomes inevitable. Because God does not just fill the void, He overflows it. He takes the place inside you that has been aching, and He fills it with a peace, a purpose, and a power that nothing in this world could ever compete with. And from that place of fullness and from that place of genuine alignment, that is where your greatness begins. Maybe you used to be in church every Sunday. Maybe you used to pray. Maybe there was a time when faith was the center of everything, and then life happened. And the faith got pushed to the edges until it disappeared completely. Or maybe you never had it at all, but something has been calling to you your entire life, and you never knew what it was. Either way, you are in the right place. Because what we are about to walk through together is not just words on a screen. It is a door. And on the other side of that door is a version of your life that you have never even imagined was possible. Your greatness is already assigned, but you must silence the wrong voices. There is something happening inside of you that you have been ignoring for a long time. A pull, a tug, something deeper than ambition, deeper than desire, deeper than anything the world has ever promised you. And that pull is not random. That is God telling you, not asking, telling you that there is a level of greatness that has already been written with your name on it. Not someday, not if you work hard enough, not if you get lucky. It has already been assigned to you by the same God who hung the stars in place and set the oceans in motion. But here is what stops most people from ever touching that greatness. It is not a lack of talent. It is not a lack of opportunity. It is not even a lack of faith. Not really. It is misalignment. You see, God designed your greatness to flow through a specific channel, and that channel is your relationship with Him. The abundance He has waiting for you. The purpose He carved out before you ever drew your first breath. The legacy He wants you to leave on this earth. None of it can reach you while you are operating outside of His will. It is not that God is withholding it to punish you. It is that the vessel through which that greatness was meant to flow has a crack in it. And that crack is the distance between where you are and where He is calling you to be. Greatness is not something you build on your own. It is something God places inside you the moment you surrender the need to build it yourself. Think about every single person in Scripture who carried something extraordinary. Not one of them did it alone. Not one of them figured it out with their own strength, their own wisdom, their own plan. Abraham did not find his land by accident. Moses did not part the Red Sea through sheer willpower. David did not become a king because he was the strongest man in the room. He was not. Every single one of them received their assignment, their power, their destiny through alignment with God. The moment they surrendered, the moment they said yes, that is when the impossible became inevitable. And that same invitation is on the table for you right now. The greatness is not gone. It has not expired. It has not been given to someone else. It is waiting on the other side of your surrender. The wealth, the influence, the peace, the purpose, all of it is real. And all of it requires one thing from you that you have been resisting. It requires you to stop trying to do this on your own and let God take the lead. That is not weakness. That is the most powerful move you will ever make. Now, here is where this gets even more urgent. Because even if you are ready in your heart to come back, even if you feel that stirring, there is a war happening for your attention. And the enemy is not always loud. Sometimes the enemy is quiet. Sometimes the enemy sounds reasonable. Sometimes the enemy sounds like the voice of someone you trust. The wrong voices did not just distract you from God. They convinced you that God was the problem when He was always the answer. The world told you that faith was for people who could not handle reality. Social media painted a picture where spirituality was just another lifestyle trend, and something to post about, not something to live by. And then there were the people, the ones inside the church who carried the name of God, but carried it poorly. The ones who hurt you, judged you, made you feel like you were not good enough to stand in that space. And you let their failure become your reason to walk away from the God who never failed you. You let broken people become louder than the God who created the universe. Let that sink in. You let voices that carry no real authority, no real power, no real sovereignty, override the voice of the one who spoke the cosmos into existence. And the reason those voices won is not because they were stronger. It is because you were not guarding what you were letting in. You opened a door and let noise flood the space where God's voice was supposed to live. But here is the beautiful thing. Those voices do not get to have the final word. They never did. They had influence. Yes, they shaped how you see yourself, how you see God, how you see your own future, but they do not have authority. Only God has authority over your life. And the moment you decide to stop letting the wrong voices dictate your story and start letting God write it, every single lie that has been spoken over you begins to lose its grip. Not gradually, immediately. Because the voice of God does not negotiate with the voices of doubt. It simply overrides them. Silence the wrong voices. That feeling inside you is God calling. There is a war being waged over your mind right now, and it is not the kind of war you see with your eyes. It is not loud. It does not announce itself. It creeps in quietly through the things you scroll past every morning, through the conversations you sit in, through the comments people make that you pretend do not stick, but they stick. They sink in. And over time, they become the very foundation on which you build your understanding of who you are, what you are worth, and whether God still has anything to say to your life. The wrong voices have been louder than God in your life for longer than you realize. And I am not talking about the obvious ones. I am not just talking about the people who openly mocked your faith or laughed when you mentioned church. I am talking about the subtle ones. The culture that tells you success means doing it alone. The social media feeds that glorify self-reliance as strength and paint surrender as failure. The friends who never say it out loud but make you feel foolish for believing in something bigger than what you can see and touch. These voices did not just distract you. They reshaped you. They rewrote the narrative inside your head until you started believing that the very thing God designed to save your life was something to be embarrassed about. You did not walk away from God because faith failed you. You walked away because the wrong voices became so loud that you forgot what his voice actually sounds like. And the people, the people. Let us be honest about this. Some of the deepest wounds you carry did not come from the world. They came from inside the church. Someone who claimed to represent God treated you like you were less than. Someone who wore a cross around their neck looked at you with judgment instead of love. Someone who stood behind a pulpit made you feel like your past disqualified your future. And you took that pain and you attached it directly to God himself. You looked at the messenger and you decided the entire message was contaminated. But here is what you have to understand. The failure of a human being has never changed the character of God, not once. Not ever. A broken vessel does not make the water inside it less pure. It makes the vessel less reliable, but the source remains exactly what it has always been. The God who loved you before you were born, who designed your destiny before you ever took your first breath, who sent his son to the cross so that nothing, not your past, not your mistakes, not your pain, could ever separate you from him, that God has not changed because a human being failed you, that God is still standing, still calling, still waiting. So the first thing you must do before anything else is silence those voices, not just on the outside, on the inside. You have to go back into the deepest room of your heart and start removing every belief that was placed there by someone or something that was never authorized to speak over your life. Every lie that says you are too broken. Every whisper that says you have gone too far. Every voice that told you God stopped caring the moment you stopped showing up. Those are not truths. They are occupiers. And they have been sitting in a space that belongs to God. The moment you stop letting the wrong voices have the final word, you will hear something you have been missing. God was never silent. You simply stopped listening. And now we come to the part that will either shake you or wake you up, and I pray it does both. That feeling you have been carrying around inside of you, that restlessness, that quiet ache that will not go away no matter how busy you keep yourself, no matter how much you try to numb it, no matter how far you run from it. You have been calling it emptiness. You have been calling it dissatisfaction. Some of you have been calling it depression. But what it actually is, what it has been this entire time, is a calling. That stirring is not random. That is not your body telling you something is wrong with you. That is God tapping you on the shoulder. That is the Holy Spirit pulling at the very core of who you are, saying, I am still here. I have always been here. And I have something for you that is bigger than anything you have ever imagined. That feeling is not a sign that your life is falling apart. It is a sign that God is refusing to let you settle for a life that was never meant to be your final chapter. He has been patient with you. He has watched you wander. He has seen every moment you chose comfort over courage, every time you chose silence over surrender, and he has not moved. He has not closed the door. He has not written you off. He has been standing in the exact same place, arms open, destiny in hand, waiting for the moment you finally stop running and turn around. And the fact that you are feeling this right now, the fact that something inside you is stirring as these words are landing in your chest, that is not a coincidence. That is God showing up. And he is showing up because he is ready to give you everything you have been aching for if you will just be brave enough to let him. So here you are. You felt it, that stirring on the one you have been running from, the one you have been trying to explain away. It is not going anywhere. It is getting louder. And that is because God is not backing down. He is not going to stop pulling at you. He is not going to stop showing up in the quiet moments, in the 3 a.m. hours, in the spaces between the noise where you are honest enough with yourself to admit that something is missing. He has been reaching for you, and tonight you get to reach back. But I need you to understand something before you take that step. This is not about being perfect. This is not about having it all figured out. This is not about showing up to church with a clean record and a pressed shirt and a life that looks like it has it all together. God does not need your performance. He needs you, the real you, the broken you, the scared you, the version of you that has been hiding behind every excuse and every wall you have ever built. That is the person he is waiting for. That is the person he has been calling. And that is the person who is about to walk into a level of freedom, purpose, and abundance that this world has never seen in you before. You are not too late. You are not too far. You are exactly where God can reach you, and he has already reached. The door is open. It has always been open. And everything we have talked about today, every truth, every revelation, every moment that made something stir inside your chest, it was not here to inform you. It was here to activate you, to shake something loose inside of you that has been sleeping, to remind you that you were not made for the life you have been settling for. You were made for greatness, and greatness starts with one decision, one single, terrifying, beautiful decision to come back to the God who never left.